Howdy folks, I'm Hangry Hoary Marmot, horribly horrifying hateful hats.
I'm Amber.
And here are more hateful hats for us to horrify. I'm not sure how we're horrifying them. I mean, probably by being less hateful than they are. How horrible. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Wanting to Follow My Mom's Rules If I'm Paying for Half of the Rent? My mom and I, a 23-year-old female, are potentially getting an apartment together, and each paying half of the rent. She said that there will still be the same rules applied as when I was living at home with her. So, for some background information, my parents growing up weren't super strict, but are a little more traditional, so they had certain rules with me that I, of course, didn't like. And they still applied even when I turned 18. I had to be home at a certain time, no tattoos, no sleepovers with my boyfriend at the time, and I couldn't go on any trips that the rest of my friend group went on, all girls. However, I understand that it's our house and their rules, so of course the solution was me moving out, which I did when I turned 21. I moved out with roommates and have been living there for the past 2 years. I'm in place financially now where I can afford an apartment on my own and just graduated from college last month, so I've been looking for apartments. At the same time, my parents decided to split a few months ago and are currently working on finalizing the divorce and selling the house. I'm the only one of my siblings who live in the same state, and my mom knew about the plans of mine to get an apartment, and she asked if I wanted to look for one together and split the rent. She was a stay-at-home mom for a little while, and now that her and my dad are done, she's working a regular job, so she has been a little tight on money. This actually didn't seem like a bad idea to me, so I said yes. But now, we had a conversation yesterday, and I told her about my tattoo appointment coming up, which she replied, enjoy it now, because once we're under the same roof again, your lifestyle is going to have to change. I was confused at first, and that's when she mentioned that I'll have to pretty much follow all the same rules that I did when I was living with her and my dad. This made me very upset, and I told her that if we're going to be getting an apartment where I'm paying for half of the bills, I'm not going to be following her rules. So now she's saying that I'm being disrespectful and rude, and she's disappointed in me, and upset that I no longer want to get an apartment with her. As someone who's 23, I go out with friends at night when I'm off the next day. I've been traveling within the country every other month and just enjoying my 20s. I even have a trip to Cancun this summer for my birthday, and now apparently I would have to cancel that. I won't be doing anything that she doesn't agree to or won't make her uncomfortable inside of the apartment. But outside of our living space, I don't see the problem. But I don't want to damage the relationship with my mom, so am I being unreasonable here? Alright folks, what do you think? It's OP being unreasonable with their 23-year-old female mother who wants to move in with them.
No, OP is absolutely not the jerk here. She's a full-grown adult and is able to live as she pleases. This is not a situation of a minor living under their parents' roof. This would be two equal roommates living in shared housing.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I would recommend not living with the mom, because even if she backs down, which it doesn't sound like it is, it sounds like she just wants to emotionally manipulate OP into caving. She's going to try and enforce things on you. She's going to get, anytime you want to go out with friends, she's going to get mopey and, talk about how you're breaking the rules and this isn't what she signed up for and this, that, and the other thing.
Or what if OP ends up with a partner? I don't know if they have one or not, and
Right.
they want to bring them over to the house.
Yeah, and then, oh, no, that's against the rules. Like, you don't want to be treated like you're a 16-year-old again.
Well, that's just it. And those rules were even draconian for a 21-year-old,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
A lot of them, right? I mean, a 21-year-old, anyone who's over 18 should be able to, live their life for the most part. And I mean, I can certainly understand parents wanting to guide and direct a child to make sure that they are making good life decisions. But once the kid turns 18 and they're on their own, kind of the training wheels are off at that point in time, right? They get to make their own decisions, and they get to make their own mistakes and figure out why some rules may exist or not. And, that's really, life is just a learning experience in that respect. And I think that parents like this aren't doing their kids any favors by setting up these arbitrary rules for them.
Right. Well, it seems more like it's just to satisfy the mom's desires than it is to teach OP anything. And so I would recommend not rooming with the mom in the first place. But if you do, stick to your guns. Do not let her guilt trip and manipulate you into not living your life because it doesn't fit with her ideas of what you should be doing.
Yeah. Well, and I would actually maybe even play fire with fire here, right? Say, well, I mean, that's fine as long as all the same rules apply to you and I get to set my own rules too,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you're both equal adults living in the house. Like, it's like she just like seems like she is on a power trip almost.
Yeah.
Like she wants to have power over OP again, and can't let it go that OP is, even though OP is her child, OP is not a child.
Yeah. Well, and also one more thing is like OP is doing her a favor,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
OP can live without their mother. They don't need their mother as a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the kind of the core difference here. The mom needs OP more than OP needs their mom,
Mm-hmm.
right? And OP was willing to do this as a favor to the mom, but no, not under these kinds of circumstances, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Throwback Blue says, here's the truth about your mom that will be hard to accept. She is using you. She used to be a stay-at-home mother and can't afford to live on her own. Or maybe she can live on her own, but she's so codependent on having someone around which she can control. Don't live with her. There is always a risk to losing your freedom or waste your time fighting for it. And OP replies, yeah, this came to mind too. It's a new lifestyle for her, pretty much, and I think that she is codependent. And Significant Cost, 884 says, well, not the jerk. And living with your mom after you finally conquered your privacy and freedom doesn't look like a good idea at all. She probably will have the alimony for a couple of years, and with time she will find a job, find new friends, and maybe find someone to date. If she lives with you, she will be focused on your life, will take care of the household as if you were a kid, and will never find a job until the alimony ends and she cries that she'll have nowhere else to go, and you need to support her forever. It's a trap. Can we add an Admiral Akbar it's a trap thing to hear? And OP replies, thank you. Yeah, I was fine and excited to live on my own, but because she's in a bad place and she's my mother, I was willing to sacrifice the privacy before I found out about her rules. What do you think about that first comment here? Not the one that OP said, but the reply to it. Like the codependence, and basically the mom will make excuses forever on why not to get a job.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know enough about OP's mom to say one way or the other. It is hard, from what I understand, to enter the workforce after being out for a long time, so it might genuinely take her time to find a job. But it's also a scary process, and if she has OP to support her, then that might also not incentivize her to get out as soon as she could.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Going on a Family Trip Because My Room Was Given Away? 2 months ago, I was invited on a long weekend trip with immediate and extended family. I'm the only single adult and the rest are couples. I informed my sister, who was coordinating the trip along with her husband, that I would go as long as there was enough bedrooms for me to also have one. They assured me that I would. They booked the house, I paid my share, and that was that. A few weeks later, my brother-in-law asked me if I would be okay with sleeping in the bunk room with my teenage nephews and their friend. Being a 40-year-old woman, I didn't think that sounded particularly fun, so I said no. Once again, I stated that if I were going, I would want to have a room to relax in and some privacy. Life for me has been very stressful lately, and I have been very much looking forward to having a peaceful getaway in one of my favorite locations. The trip is set to begin tomorrow, but I received a text from my sister tonight saying, "Are you good to stay in the boys' room?" I immediately called and asked why that was even being brought up again, and she said she must have miscounted the couples. It's bad enough being the only single one out of the whole bunch of couples, but this happens to me every trip I go on. It's frustrating always being placed in the living room or on the couch or in a bedroom with teenagers. I paid the same amount as everyone else who will have their own private bedroom/bathroom. So at this point, I just don't even really want to go anymore. Am I the jerk? And folks, there are some comments here that I think will add a tiny bit of information here. And Pharaoh's Ghost says, not the jerk, demand your money back and book a stay in a nearby spa instead. And OP replies, I requested a refund, to which they said they will not be giving me one because it wouldn't be fair to everyone else apparently. And OP also says, Thanks, everyone. I told my sister that I would plan on not going, and she told me I was being ridiculous. I really try hard to avoid confrontation with people and usually end up being treated as a pushover. So this time, I wanted to stand my ground. The entire family is mad at me now, but you're all right. I stated my boundaries, and they unfortunately chose to overlook those boundaries. And sAdvice replies, please tell us that you're getting your money back. And as we know, OP is not getting their money back. And sAdvice says, not the jerk. She must have miscounted the couples. No, she did not. And OP replies, I can't imagine how she would have. Yes, it's a large going group, but not so large to completely miscount. All right, now that we have a little tiny bit more information, what do you think?
Absolutely not the jerk. Even without that information, OP wasn't the jerk. She had made it very clear that she was not interested in sharing a room. In what world is it appropriate for a 40-year-old to share a room with a bunch of teenage boys?
Yeah.
Like, if anything, the dads can bunk with the boys, but that's about it. Like, if the sister's husband wants to go bunk with his son and OP could share a room with her sister, although her sister seems not very nice either. So, I mean, I get the sense they did this on purpose. They are used to OP backing down, and so they figured they would just count on her, sticking her in the kids' room and making her deal with it. I would recommend not going on any vacations with them in the future. I don't know if it's possible to go to small claims court if they didn't have like a formal agreement.
They might be able to. I mean, there was a verbal contract here,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, certainly small claims courts, you can resolve verbal contracts because they're still contracts. Now, it's just a matter of whether or not OP really wants to drag their sister-in-law, sister or sister-in-law, I don't remember, over to small claims court to pursue the matter, right? And the fact that they're saying this wouldn't be fair to everyone else, no, what they're doing here is saying that basically they are using OP to get a discount on
Exactly.
a place, right?
They're just using OP for the money. They don't care about OP's happiness. They don't care about whether OP enjoys the vacation. They just want it cheaper for the rest of them.
Yeah. And OP is, I think OP is wise to start setting these boundaries. And next time they want a vacation, say, no, I'm not going to take a vacation. And in fact, I'm not going to go on any vacations until you pay me back the money you owe me for the trip I didn't take. And I don't care how unfair that is. I didn't go on this trip because you broke your agreement with me, right? And then if OP really wants to go on one of these vacations, they can arrange their own plans to go, right? Because again, they can take a hotel, they can do whatever. They don't need to live in have to be pushed aside because of these people, right?
Right. Well, and honestly, like, I don't know if it's worth going on vacation with people who care so little about you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that so much of the family is on the sister's side. It seems like they're all very selfish and greedy people because, of course, they're not willing to go bunk with the teenagers,
Like, what 40-year-old woman wants to bunk with boy teens of all, right? Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 30-year-old male and my mother wants to get a divorce and move in to my new home. So my fiance is a 31-year-old female and I'm a 30-year-old male and we're in the process of buying a new home. We are weeks away from exchanging contracts. We live in the UK and house prices are exorbitant, so it's been hard saving up for our first place. As a result, we have spent the last year living with my parents, who are so generously giving us £20,000 for the deposit. This has been difficult enough for me, but it has been incredibly hard on my fiance. She works a very stressful job and doesn't feel that she can truly unwind when she gets home. My parents are laid back, but they have their quirks. My mom will often cook on my fiance's days off, despite knowing that this is her biggest hobby and the thing that she loves to do to relax. She will often ask prying questions to know more about our relationship. My mother is Iranian and very family-oriented, but despite having conversations with her, she does struggle to set boundaries. Anyways, last night my mom brought me over to talk about how she felt that she may want to have a divorce. Honestly, this probably should have happened well into my childhood, but I thought, yeah, that's reasonable. Right at the very end of the conversation, she states that she could move in with us in the second room, which is to be my study since I work from home. I didn't react and I tried to play it cool, but I'm honestly losing my mind now. I know this probably comes off as incredibly selfish, and my parents have been very generous with the gift and letting us live here. I am 100% planning on paying them back when I can. For example, after selling this house. and would always look after my parents when they got older and needed more support. However, I now feel like this has been my mom's plan from the start. My fiance literally has been counting down the days until she gets independence. She wasn't even keen on the idea of saving up by staying with my parents in the first place. I'm wondering whether I ditch it all instead and rent or move into a significantly cheaper city. I haven't spoken to my fiance about this because she's already been feeling very low about her current living circumstances. Does anyone have any ideas on how best to handle this? Maybe how to broach the subject with her or how to prevent this from happening. Edit. Thanks everyone for your responses. Please keep them coming. I agree with almost everything that everyone has said. I should have said something then and there, but I was worried that I would lose my cool and say something that I would regret. I told my fiance and showed her this post. I also spoke to my sister. I plan to speak to my mom later today. I think that I'll make a proper update post to explain how it all goes. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I think that OP needs to probably just back out of this at this point. I have a feeling that the mom is going to use that deposit as or down payment as leverage,
Yeah.
and like it's very clear she's been doing this from the beginning, or at least that was my guess that she had this plan in her mind that she would get out, she would live with OP and his wife, and that's not a tenable situation. I think OP is also underreacting at what his mom, because he's used to his mom, and his mom isn't treating him badly, but like his wife is at the end of her rope with this already. It sounds like his mom knows that his fiance needs to decompress by cooking and is always cooking when she wants to be, and is prying invasively into their relationship. I can imagine there's probably 100 other things that are going on that OP's not necessarily aware of. He needs to take his fiance's well-being and put that first here over his mom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that this is actually a really golden opportunity in a lot of ways, right? Because now that they know the plan, right, they can preemptively, have the contract fall through or something like that. If they talk to the real estate agent and explain the situation, they might be able to get out of the contract, or maybe they talk to the real estate agent and just say they want to pull out of the contract. Then maybe they can. It really depends on how far along they are and what the laws are in the UK for those kinds of things, right? But as long as they haven't signed that piece of paper, hopefully there's a chance that they can get out of this situation. And then because their mom is getting a divorce, they can say, oh, well, I mean, we're just going to have to go rent somewhere else in the meantime, type of
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? And yeah, it's going to be a little bit worse for saving up and stuff like that, but I think in the end, it'll probably be worth the break from the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably should have moved out much sooner than waiting until now, right?
Yeah, well, it sounds like his fiance has been wanting to be out of there for a long time, and it's unfortunate that OP hasn't listened to her sooner. And so I definitely think under no circumstances can he let the mom live with him, or pretty soon it's going to be a him and mom relationship and not him and his fiance.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a scientist who champions equal rights?
Oh, I would call them a, equal rights scientist.
A STEMinist.
Oh, a STEMinist. Very good. Very good.
And today is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science.
Well, there you have it. Go find someone who's going into science and is also a girl and help them out. Amber's like, wow, that was
It was
surprisingly wholesome.
I was surprised, yes. I was like expecting it to go in some terrible direction, and then it's like, oh, that's actually a good lesson.
And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, terrific Tuesday, folks. So, TWO, I had to think about what day of the week it even is. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on living arrangements.
Living arrangements should be fair to all people involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's some solid advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.